Monday night's loss to the Detroit Lions felt more than just one loss for whatever reason. Obviously, they're going to be without Mike Evans now, who broke his clavicle, in addition to having a concussion as well when his head hit the turf. Going all out trying to make a play, down the field for Baker Mayfield. And so there goes his streak, which he's also lost, a streak of 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons. He tied Jerry Rice. He won't own that by himself now. If he comes back, it will be at the very end of the year. I don't know if that's the regular season or the postseason if they make it, but he's going to miss several weeks. The last guy I remember breaking his clavicle on this team of any significance was Trent Dilfer. And that happened in, I want to say 1999 when Sean King took over. And Dilfer didn't make it back for the playoffs. He missed, I think, 5 weeks. So, bones usually take a minimum of 4 if it's displaced longer. And, just more than just the player who was great. And he had 4 targets but no catches, on Monday night. So clearly the Bucs struggled to throw the ball, really to do anything on offense. But it's the energy that he brings. You don't have Chris Godwin. You don't have Mike Evans. You don't have Jalen McMillan. Emeka Ibuka came back, but I didn't think he was Emeka Ibuka, and probably the worst day Baker Mayfield has had this year just throwing the ball, just pitch and catch.
Well, I
He
think
was
that's
off.
the first place you got to start.
Yeah, he was off.
I mean, you could say Emeka wasn't Emeka, but the throws weren't even close to him.
Well, that's true. He was open many times. You're right. It could be a different day if Baker finds him where he needed to be.
Me, honest, I mean, losing Mike Evans is awful, devastating, whatever. But what was going on with Baker?
I don't think he didn't feel comfortable.
Okay, but I mean, the throws weren't close.
No, he had a bad day. And I think the Lions can do that to you. We went into this game saying that, well, they were missing their entire secondary. That should be an advantage for you, except that they play a style that's extremely aggressive, and some of the things they do with their linebackers, he clearly didn't really sort of feel comfortable in the pocket. And the one thing they did was keep him in the pocket. He's made a lot of plays off script, rolling out to his left, to his right. They did a nice job of hemming him inside and then bringing pressure up through the middle. And Baker really didn't feel comfortable. He had nowhere to go. And so I thought the game plan was good by Dan Campbell. I thought their execution was excellent. They didn't do much on offense other than, they ran the ball, and especially, Jahmyr Gibbs with 35 yards or something like that. 78 of it on one play, or 78, I think it was. But
yes, but those plays could have been avoided with the lack of penalties.
The lack of penalties would have helped. Tackling would have helped.
Was it Parrish that had the first one before the Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown? Or
that's correct. Yes, he did.
That was
they were off the field.
That's a bad. Yeah. They were off the field. The one on Jamel Dean, that was questionable. That was.
Yeah, I didn't think that. I thought the crew was bad.
I didn't like
really
that
bad.
call at all. But
yeah.
But those penalties kept giving Detroit new life. I mean, you stopped them, and then you gave them
off the field,
fresh set of downs.
Yeah,
and and that's how you got behind early. Is your offense was ineffective,
and
your defense got off the field but couldn't get off the field.
Yeah, I think they went 3 and out the first 3 times they had the ball, or something close to that. If they got a first down, their first down was by penalty, not by actually doing something. They did not play well to start the game. They looked rattled. When you're there, and I don't know if this shows up on TV, it's a very intimidating place to play. It's a great atmosphere in terms of, there's a lot of crowd involvement and things like that. But you got to be so locked in because the communication is next to nothing. And it's an advantage. It's a true home field advantage, as loud as that building gets. I mean, it's shaking at times. And I just don't think they handled anything well. It was as if they had not been to Detroit and played the Lions and beat them last year in week 2. So, the Lions rough you up. Some calls went against them for sure, especially reviewing the review, which made no sense to me. when Kate Otten looked like he had a first down. They said he had a first down, and then it was, oh, no, let's take another look. Oh, wait, he wasn't.
No, Dan Campbell challenged it. I mean, that's why they took
Well,
another
he
look.
challenged it, but they went over there and said that they got the call right until they said they wanted to go back and look again.
So
they
I don't know if you saw the one of the officials put out talk to the pool reporter.
He should have.
And said they got a new angle after the challenge.
Well, that's what Todd Bowles told us they said.
Yep. So they got a new angle, and that's what allowed them to say it was short. But it was probably a little short. I don't know. But I'm trying to figure out how they know exactly where that line is, because the orange thing on the sideline is not official. Like, they didn't bring the chain out and measure it.
Right.
So how do they know it was short? I mean, I think it was. I actually think they got the call right. But everything we know about football is that orange marker isn't the official line, which is what they essentially used in the replays by what it looks like. Like, that's not the official. Like, you're supposed to come out and measure it. Like, I don't. That's what I don't. And you were talking inches there. Like, how do you overturn that either way in that regard? That's what I like I said, I think it was a hair short, but you're talking
what
hairs.
happened to the conclusive evidence type?
You're talking, what about virtual? I thought they had virtual measurements and everything. They didn't use that. Like, what? I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand when it has to be clear, obvious to overturn. Like, that the orange thing on the sideline isn't official. So how did that overturn that for that? I mean, you're talking inches there. And
I don't
like
know.
I said, it's probably right, but not based on the way I understand the rules should be implemented.
Yeah, not the way they understood it either. I had a lot of people come up to me and ask about members of the organization, where we're going to get a pool report, and really it's up to the you got to ask the local writer, whoever the pool reporter is, to get that done. So I'm glad they got it done, but I'm sure the explanation wasn't satisfactory at the end of the day. And that's not why they lost the game. I mean, let's be honest. It was a critical call, but I think they got the ball back after that. It cost them time off the clock.
Yeah. I mean, the other part of it is, why are you throwing it short of the marker on fourth down?
Right. Well, anytime Kate Otten is your leading receiver and has the most targets and the most catches, that's usually not a good day, right? And nothing against Kate Otten. He's a fine player. But you threw him 10 passes.
But
9 passes.
He's probably your third best receiver on the field to start the game. Evans didn't.
That's what happened. Evans went out, and that was the guy that was the most available to him.
Which meant they're going to double Ibuka.
Yeah.
From that point out, I mean, Kate Otten last year when Mike Evans went out was fantastic.
He had 10 catches, 100 yards. Yeah, one game.
I don't think it's I mean, I don't want Kate Otten to be my leading targeted receiver, but when you have injuries and things like that, I'm comfortable with Kate Otten being that guy. He showed it last year. Like,
he's all you have at that point, but he's not going to be an explosive player. He's going to get you a few first downs, and that's going to be it.
Yeah.
But look, their personnel right now, and I know we talked about this where they were able to finish the game the other day, with Tez Johnson and such, Sterling Shepard. It's hard to start a game that way. And they had Mike, and they had Emeka. Emeka went out pretty early and didn't come back in for a little while. I was kind of questioning whether he would tweak something. But against the better teams, and like I said, the weird thing is Detroit stepped up, man. Credit all those guys. Those guys playing in the secondary had not played. Many of them really had not had extensive action. And they got away with some stuff. They got away with some clutching and grabbing. And that's, again, their style. But you give them all the credit in the world, man. They don't lose 2 games in a row, and good teams typically don't. We'll see if the Bucs can avoid that, because they got a short week now and they got to go to New Orleans. I will say this: Baker Mayfield is beat up. His knee is not good.
That's I go back to, I wonder about his health right now. And
I wonder about his mobility,
the way he threw the ball.
Yeah, I know. He was so inaccurate that, it could be that, he had a bicep injury, I think.
Yeah.
And you kind of wonder if that's barking at him, except that he threw it so well in Seattle, that You know, the last 2 games he threw the ball perfectly.
Yeah.
So I didn't really think that, but
it could even be the knee. I mean, if your legs aren't right, it can affect your
could be.
throws and that. I mean, it doesn't have to
He
be
could
your
just
arm
be
per
beat
se.
up, and he just wasn't. He wasn't on it. You know,
Yeah.
I think again. I think the game plan for the Lions was do not lose contain on Baker Mayfield. Okay, don't give him the escape route right or left. Make him come up straight through the middle, and we'll have somebody there. Those linebackers were very active and almost spying on him at times, and you know, so that's part of the reason was you didn't see the escapability and the throws on the run where he creates windows, you know, for his receivers and stuff. So I don't know. Look, sometimes the other team is really good too, and the other coaches are really good too, and they outcoached the Bucks, and they certainly outplayed them, and they deserved to win the game, and so they did. And the thing is, if the Bucks are going to go on and win their division and make the playoffs, games like this one could matter, will matter as far as home field advantage goes. They've lost to Philly now. They've lost to the Lions. Both those teams are going to be playing, I think, in the postseason. We'll see if the Bucks will. You know, that's the thing. Like, they've not lost 2 in a row. I think they're a better football team than New Orleans, but division games are always kind of close. They need to get right back on that winning trail and you know, get to 6-2, and you feel really good about life. Feel pretty good now at 5-2. There's a lot of 5-2 teams out there, so the NFC is wide open.
Well, that's the thing is I believe the Bucks now, based on tiebreakers, would be the 4 seed in the playoffs.
Well, yeah,
They'd be
because
the
they're
last
behind.
division.
They're behind Philly. They're behind Detroit, and they got more teams.
Well, actually, the Packers lead the Central at 4-1-1,
Right.
and then the Niners and the Eagles in a 3-way tie with the Bucks at 5-2 for their division lead. I think.
But I
Bucks
think
are the
when you have
4
a
seed.
3-way tie, you throw out if one has an advantage over the other in the series, you throw them out. I believe. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different maturations of it. We're a
It's
long way
early,
from the
way
playoffs,
early,
but I'm just saying, like, in general, if you ask me, are the Lions going to be in the postseason? I would say yes.
Yes.
I would have said yes when the season started. I definitely would say yes now. And if they are, and at any point they run into the Buccaneers, that game's not going to be in Tampa, right? Because the first tiebreaker being head to head.
Unless the Packers win that division, then the Lions are going to be
possibly,
a wild card team. I mean,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, they could be. If they don't win the division, then yeah, they certainly could be. Anyway, they got to shore up some things on defense too. I got to be honest with you. I'm not real impressed with Bowles and his coaching staff right now because there are so many blown coverages, guys falling down, guys missing their run gaps. Like it seems to be like a very confused young team that isn't quite sure what the hell it's doing. And that's the worst thing you can say about a football team. Like you have to be assignment sound. You got to have guys in their right gaps. Guys are going to fall down in coverage sometimes, but you can't do it, you know, on every play. A guy can't go 70 something yards from scrimmage, you know, like it just can't happen. You got 11 players on the field. So those big plays, man, there's such momentum boosters. The crowd gets going, you know, you stop them, and then something like that happens. It's tough. It's really tough. So I didn't see, you know, a lot of good things, to be quite honest with you, in this game. I think they're going to have to bury this fast. Like I said, short week. They'll be back at work on Wednesday. They have a game, you know, in New Orleans on Sunday, and there's no time to, you know, lick your wounds, so to speak. Like you have to move forward, and
I
they
thought
will.
the pass rush was okay.
I mean,
I thought they got a lot of pressure. I mean, look, that was a huge weakness going into this season for the Bucs, and even the beginning of the season, they weren't getting a lot of pressure on teams. No, they did last week.
They sacked them 4 times and 6 sacks last week, four on Monday night.
I thought that was good this week.
Yeah, and they sustained some injuries. Man, Haason Reddick got hurt. That's not going to be good.
No, that's definitely not.
I thought Yaya Diaby played one of his best games. He was all over the place.
Yep,
had a sack. Yeah, there were positives. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure what they're doing with Benjamin Morrison. Blows the coverage, and then they put Jamel Dean in, and he has
the defense got a couple more turnovers.
Yeah, Dean got his 3rd interception, which is crazy.
But the offense gave up a couple turnovers.
Yeah, they did.
Baker gets an
fumbled.
interception, which To be honest, that's not on him.
But Otten and the other guy kind of wrestled each other to the ground, and
Yep.
I always thought that possession goes to the receiver, but in this case, it did not.
Yeah, but the defender had a lot more possession than Otten did of that by the time they
Yeah,
rolled
he did.
over.
By the time they got to the ground, he did.
Yeah, that's a tough interception for Baker.
Yeah, that's nothing he did for sure.
Nope.
So he's got 2 on the year, which you can live with. But just not his best game. He just,
Nope.
I don't know what it was, and I'm not sure he could really articulate it either. There was just something there. There was something, whether it was, he didn't trust the protection. He missed guys that were open. He missed open receivers, big chunk plays.
Yep.
And that's not what we've seen. He's given guys a chance to make a play on the ball, and that just wasn't the case. So anyway, they lose. Again, short week. I think Todd Bowles is going to speak in the morning. This man never sleeps, but it's tough. Detroit's franchise, they got it rocking up here. Barry Sanders was in the building. I mean, the place was bananas, to be honest with you. And those fans are having a good time. I'm surprised. No, not so. I'm surprised, but I really do expect them to get in the playoffs and go far. I don't know why it hasn't happened yet. But Jared Goff is really good. And he didn't have a great game, but he's still very good. But those 2 running backs are a problem. And those 2 receivers are a problem. And they got at least 2 tight ends that are a problem. So if they got some guys back on defense, the linebackers are really good. So it's a playoff team, and it's one that's going to be a tough out. I wouldn't want to play him in this building. I can tell you that. I would not want to come up here and try to beat him in Ford Field. It's a crazy environment, just hostile. I'm not sure who else got hurt. There were, like I said, Haason Reddick was one. Didn't see many guys, kind of on the mend after the game. But we'll see.
It's going to be a short week too. So Baker's beat up. How obviously they probably only a walkthrough on Wednesday.
You won't have a practice Wednesday. They'll walk through that, and then
they may do a walkthrough on Thursday too. For all
they
you
could.
Just don't know.
They certainly could, because what's going to happen is we're going to find out a bunch of guys that are hurt that we didn't know got hurt in the game, and that's always the case when they get back home and start checking things out and wake up in the morning and so on and so forth. So it's not going to trend the other way. It's only going to be worse. And you got to have luck. You got to have luck. But look, Detroit, their entire secondary got wiped out. And that did not stop them. Did not slow them at all. So the Bucs are going to have to find a way to make do without Mike. Hope that he's back at some point. He'll be around the building. He'll still be a great ambassador for these guys. But man, you sure wish you had him on the field with you the rest of the way, because he's such a beast. And Baker missed him a few times too, including the pass he got hurt on. If he throws a better ball, not that was a hospital ball, it was unfortunate just the way he fell, but he slams his helmet, off the turf because the ball's a little too long. So, ifs and buts, right? Like, you can go back and do this all the time. Anyway, so that's pretty much it from Detroit.
We did learn sadly some more news on Doug Martin.
Yes, we did. This was weird. The finally, I guess the Oakland Police Department put out a statement. And best as we can piece it together based on their statement and other things is that Doug Martin on Saturday morning, somewhere around 4:15 a.m., authorities, the police were called to an address in Oakland, California. And the report was that there was someone breaking in at that time. When the police came, now depending on which report you read, because I've seen a bunch of them, but the police came and they went to take Doug into custody. And at some point while in custody, he was having a medical emergency. And so they called paramedics. Paramedics came, took him to the hospital where he died. It sounds a little sketchy to me, but then that was followed up by his agent putting out a fairly impassioned statement, basically saying that Doug had suffered from mental illness for years, and almost as if like that's the demon that somehow got him in the end, So that part was illuminating but sad, and we're still waiting to get more details. But at least we have some idea that in the wee hours of the morning he was at somebody's house and someone called 911, and then chaos ensued, and eventually he got to a point where he was medically in trouble and they couldn't revive him, and it's like the worst story ever, and it's going to go on, and of course the police officers, by virtue of policy, are on administrative leave, and there's going to be lots of investigations from different folks. I don't know where this is headed. I really don't, but it doesn't really matter in that his loved ones are going to take care of it, but no Doug Martin. And it's just, I think back of what a bright-eyed kid he was, what a great player he was, and a good teammate. And yeah, he had issues. He was suspended for 4 games and things like that, but just way too soon, man. It's just, and I hate the speculation. I hate the drip 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 of facts. I wish they would just come out and tell us as best as they can reconstruct it, like what really did go on. But I guess we'll find out in short order as more information comes out. Speaking of football, folks, get on down to Breitling Boutique, because you know what they're doing right now? They have NFL watches. That's right. They're beautiful chronomount watches, 32 teams in the NFL, 32 different team watches. Wow. Supplies last. They're celebrating the NFL's 104th year anniversary now. You see these things, and we've had them online. The Buccaneers watch, for example, has the team color in the face of the watch, the logo. These are spectacular. And again, only while supplies last. And just shop down there, man. I'm telling you, you go to the center of that mall, second floor, go into Breitling Boutique, plan to stay a little bit, find out about the different timepieces you can buy in your price range. Again, men's watches, chronomats, Navitimers, women's watches. They have sports watches. They're durable, they're beautiful, and they have just a whole bunch of an array of colored wristbands for your wife or girlfriend to choose from. It is Breitling Boutique. It's in International Plaza Mall. When you go, please let them know that you heard about it right here on Sports Day Tampa Bay. So I have no other reason except I just felt this way. I was kind of hoping Seattle would make it to the World Series. I thought that'd be a nice juxtaposition with the Dodgers, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, they were on their way. They were up 3-1.
I was excited when I saw the partial score, but you just told me they lost.
George Springer, 3-run shot. I think it was the 7th inning. Could have been the 6th. Had it on, obviously. But, yeah, George Springer, who's obviously had some postseason history with the Astros as well, sends them to the World Series. First time since 93 they're there. Seattle still the only team in baseball never to make the World Series.
Oh.
They were founded in, 77, I think, so approaching 50 years.
I was surprised it had been since 93 that Toronto was in.
Yeah, since they won it with Joe Carter.
Is that the home run?
Yeah, they went back-to-back years, so I don't remember which year the home run was, but it was one of the 2 years.
Well, good for Toronto and the whole country of Canada. I don't know what the ratings will be good up there, I suppose. I don't know how the ratings game is going to go. I got the Dodgers in 6.
So the series starts in Toronto Friday night, so Toronto had the better record in the regular season.
Oh, that'd be cool.
It would have started in L.A. if Seattle had gone, but
yeah.
So at most 7 games of baseball left this season.
And it's a long season, isn't it? When you think back to February, March with spring training, they do play a long time if you make it all the way to World Series.
If you count spring training, I mean, the regular season is.
I do.
The regular season is about the same as hockey in the NBA. It's a little shorter. I mean, football's shorter. Their postseason is shorter than the NBA and hockey because they only play a month, where hockey and the NBA play 2 months. But their spring training is a lot longer than preseason for the others.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Speaking of hockey, the Tampa Bay Lightning are going back on the road, are they not?
No. They're at home.
They're back at home now?
Well, they don't play till Thursday. They'll play three games at home in 4 days. Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So
Okay.
But they've had the last 2 days off. They'll get back to practice today and tomorrow. And Connor Geeky was sent down to Syracuse on Monday.
Now, why was that move made?
It's a good question. We may find out more today once practice is back, because I'm sure John Cooper will get asked.
Are they bringing somebody from the outside in?
It could be they'll bring somebody else up. It could be they want him to go down and work on something. Syracuse does play Wednesday night. He could go down, play then, and come back by Thursday.
Got it.
Not 100% certain at this point, so we'll find out. But that was a move they made on Monday. So
they just need to get going. They could use some wins. I know they've been munching points and all those cliches.
They're munching a little bit, not a lot, but
they need to win.
1, 3, and 2 is not munching enough points.
That's true. That's true. Just get
but now
going.
They got 3 in a row at home here. So you've got the Blackhawks, the Ducks, and the Golden Knights. Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So,
I mean, of those, the Golden Knights are the best team, right?
Yes. Yeah. Ducks are improving. Blackhawks actually have a winning record right now, but it's early.
Right. Well, it's a great time of the year, man. College football's cranking up. We don't know if we're going to have more firings in college football this week.
Probably not this week. I mean, normally the firings come Sunday or Monday, so they're not going to come middle of the week.
After a game, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, Florida did it before a bye week, so there's 2 weeks to the next game.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure there'll be lots of boosters calling and seeing how much money they can pony up to get some more coaches fired. So.
Oh, my God. It is the crazy, crazy coaching season right now. I'm anxious to see what, the daisy chain is when guys start landing jobs. And then this guy gets this job, and then this job's open, and so-and-so wants that job. It's going to be really interesting. All the way down to Alex Golish.
So it's funny. I was having a conversation today with a couple of Gator fans. And, they were talking about Lane Kiffin to be their head coach.
Absolutely.
And I said, what if this happened? And I don't know if it would. I don't know if it's the right moves, but Lane goes to Florida. Golish goes to Ole Miss, which I think he'd actually be a good fit there. And then USF hires Billy Napier.
No.
It would just be a funny triangle. I mean, I don't think that will happen, but Napier's going to go for a group of, a non-Power 4 school. I don't think he's going to get a Power 4 school job. Did really well at Louisiana.
Maybe he'll become a coordinator somewhere.
Well, he could do that, yeah. I mean, Nick Saban's not rehabbing coordinators anymore, so I'm not sure where he'd go, but that's where, any fired coach went to go, coordinate for Nick Saban for a year or two and then go on. Including Lane Kiffin did that. Lane Kiffin did that. Steve Sarkisian. I mean, lots of guys did that. So,
yeah, really, really good for your references, and they all played a part in him winning national championships too.
Yep.
But yeah, so I thought one other thing about USF. I don't know if you saw this. They had homecoming. It was against FAU, which is not a great program, obviously, but they had over 45,000 in that stadium, and they don't really sell the upper deck.
Yeah, no, it was great.
It's a hell of a crowd, man. I don't know how long it's been since they had someone like that, but it was legit too because I walked through it.
Yeah, I mean, they would have had it for Alabama a couple years ago, and some of the big games like that.
More about the draw though than the
exactly.
USF fans. I don't know that FAU. I mean, I guess FAU could have bought tickets and come up here, but
they ain't buying 45,000 tickets.
They ain't making that difference. No, maybe 300. 45 and not 45,000.
Yep.
Yeah, but look, they're playing really good football. Like, they're fun to watch. I don't know when or if they're going to get tripped up, but it kind of feels like it's going to be a special year. And then Mr. Golish might have something to decide.
Well, let's hope he has something to decide, because that means USF
has
really
won
really
a lot
good
of
season.
Games. That's right.
Yeah. Which is ultimately what you want as a USF fan.
Yeah, no doubt.
If he takes you to the promised land and chooses to leave, then thank him and root for him as he goes on, and go find the next Alex Golish.
You need a next one. You got to have a string of successful seasons so that you can get a conference affiliation. But I think in their minds, they're a long way from that. I do believe that. We'll see. Anyway, I got to get up very early because it's very late right now, and Steve stayed up for me. So we're going to wrap this up. Be back tomorrow. Todd Bowles has a press conference early in the morning. I think, let's see, John Romano will be covering that. Check it out in Tampa Bay Times, tampabay.com. Go see our friends at Breitling Boutique, International Plaza Mall. Men's watches, women's watches, all Swiss watches, beautiful. From the Breitling Company, been in business now for 140 years at International Plaza for the last 5. Please, when you go, let them know that you heard about it on Sports Day Tampa Bay. Thanks for listening, everybody. For Steve Versnick, I'm Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times. Have a great day, everybody.